Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today I want to do a video on Dillon Brooks, one of the villains of the NBA, like Patrick Beverley, like Draymond Green. There are certain guys who understand their value, and they also understand the media and how the league is shaped in a way where it does not emphasize their value. You see, I remember Richard Sherman back in the day for the Seattle Seahawks. I remember he was really outlandish, really loud and verbose. He was really demonstrative. And he would talk about how he's, one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. And I remember ESPN and the media began to say, "You talk too much. Why are you so loud?" And he responded with this. Granted, remember, my brother Richard Sherman graduated from the University of Stanford, or Stanford University, out here in the Bay Area of California. And he said, "I'm a smart man. I understand that in this league," and I'm paraphrasing, "you all diminish the impact in my position. There are very few defensive backs that get fanfare, that get media coverage, that get the attention from the camera, that demands that teams recognize their value. And as a result, it hurts them in their pocket with their contracts." And I'm paraphrasing here. He recognized that the average career span of an NFL player is less than 2 seasons. He understood that he had a minimal amount of time to maximize his earning potential that was supposed to set him up for the rest of his life. A life that, if he's not too impacted by CTE, right, is spanning for another 50 to 60 years likely after he retires. He only has a window of 2+ seasons to try to maximize this earning potential. And so he talked his talk. He talked his shit. He ran his mouth. He did what he needed to do so that everybody saw just how talented he was. And Dillon Brooks, Patrick Beverley, Draymond Green, these elite superstar level defenders do the same. These superstar defenders acknowledging and understanding that teams will overlook them. Media will not cover them. And because they don't drop 20+ points a game, they will not be seen as exciting. And therefore, their impact be minimized, hurting their earning potential. In this video, I want to talk about a few of the top teams that I see Dillon Brooks going to next season to completely redeem and revamp his value in the NBA. The first team, and I think that, let me just start off by saying, wherever he goes needs to be, one, a veteran team. He needs to be on a veteran team that is able to insulate him, that is able to surround him with the requisite talent, with the requisite leadership, with the requisite system that allows him to maximize what he does best: lock people down. So with that, I want to start off with the Milwaukee Bucks. When the Milwaukee Bucks won their NBA championship a few seasons ago, they had a player by the name of PJ Tucker. And PJ Tucker was able to take those tough defensive assignments. He was able to take the Kevin Durant. He was able to take the Jason Tatum. He was able to take that tough perimeter defensive assignment that allowed Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo to not have to expend as much energy on that defensive end. And as a result, they were able to maximize their offensive potential that propelled them to an NBA championship. What Milwaukee needs is a defender who can do the same. If you put Dillon Brooks on this team, What he does immediately is he rejuvenates not just their defense, but also the offensive potential by minimizing the impact of their stars having to chase around, having to guard off of pick and rolls. Look, I don't care. We all know how amazing Jrue Holiday is as an on-ball and off-the-ball defender. You still do not want him to have to take the hardest defensive assignment night in and night out. Over 30 years old now, it is wearing on his body and minimizing his effectiveness because they also need him to dominate on the offensive end, to play make and facilitate, to get to the rim at will, to break down the defense and create open looks for his teammates. They need a load from him offensively that if you ask a 30-plus-year-old in the NBA who has been playing for 8, 9, 10 years already, 82-game seasons plus the playoffs, All-Star game, Summer USA program games, preseason, Summer League, All-Star games. These guys cannot be asked to carry that load season after season after season without wearing down. Dillon Brooks extends the life of this championship window in a major way. Yes, I know that a lot of people would like to say he should be able to sign for the veterans minimum, but he's worth far more than that. But after last playoff showing and how things have gone with the Memphis Grizzlies, we understand that his value is probably at an all-time low. And so the first team I see him going to is the Milwaukee Bucks. The second team that I could picture him going to is a team like the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls tried Patrick Williams at power forward as kind of a small ball power forward for the past 3-4 years. And Patrick Williams has let them down year after year. It's just not who he is. Despite his talent, his versatility, his athletic ability, his length, his size, his strength, that's not who he is. He's not a defensive anchor. But if you put Dillon Brooks there, he's about 6'7", 230 plus pounds. You let him hold that spot down and tell him, do your best PJ Tucker impersonation. Grab rebounds, be physical, be a lockdown defender. I don't know if y'all noticed, but last season the Bulls were struggling mightily. They picked up Patrick Beverley off waivers at the trade deadline. Immediately their season turned around and they almost made the playoffs. They made the play-in tournament. If those Bulls bring back Patrick Beverley and sign a Dillon Brooks, that defense becomes one of the elite defenses in the NBA. And we are no longer talking about how Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan aren't doing enough on defense, how this team is going nowhere. Immediately, they become probably a top 5 seed in the East with 2 all-NBA level defenders in that starting lineup. Immediately. They've got the veterans. They've got the offensive stars. They got the system. They got the coaching. They got everything that Dillon Brooks needs to insulate himself and maximize his talent. And they need him. They need that type of player that they've been looking for Patrick Williams to be, and he has shown that's just not him. But it is Dillon Brooks. It is Dillon Brooks. The last team is the Miami Heat. If there was ever a player who embodied the Miami Heat, it's Dillon Brooks. He's got the trash talk swagger. He's got the defensive intensity and the motor that shows up night in and night out. He's a guy that's not going to take plays off. He's going to dive on the floor. He'll switch on defense. He'll take the tough assignments. But more than anything, we all know, look, Jimmy Buckets, you know he's only going to give you about 55 games a season. Any more than that, you're dreaming. At this point in his career, that's really all he has in him until the playoffs. And you'll take it. You know why? Because he gets you to the NBA Finals twice. Twice in the past 5 years. He's gotten his team to the NBA Finals as the number 1 scorer and leader of the Miami Heat. If you can bring in a Dillon Brooks Somebody who can take that tough perimeter defensive assignment, who brings energy, athleticism, can get out in transition, has some facilitating abilities, and with the accountability of an Eric Spoelstra who has a strong voice in that locker room, Udonis Haslem, Patrick Riley, Alonzo Mourning wishing somebody would get out of lines so he can smack them back in line. You put him there, Miami's headed back to the finals. Miami's heading back to the finals. And don't let them trade for Dame. Even if they just retain the roster they got, they might be a finals team going into next year. But as always, I want to know what you all think. What team do you have Dillon Brooks potentially going to redeem his career in the NBA so that folks finally start putting some respect on his name? Holler at me in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me. Really appreciate it. Hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. And hit that bell for notifications. I drop nearly every day. Don't miss it. And I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.